Let's see how far we can get before we screw up.
All right.
You ready?
Go ahead.
Hey everybody, welcome back in the shed. I'm Troy. This is Dave.
Hello. Tonight we're at Armando Cardoso's Vintage Meal Record Store here in downtown Waco.
How's it going, Armando?
Good, I'm doing really well.
Hey, well, thanks for letting us record in your very cool record store downtown Waco, and also hooking us up with John earlier. We interviewed him.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you want to see that episode, just look at the one before this one, and you'll be able to find it. So, hey, how's it going, man?
Doing really good. A little bit tired, working a lot. Really enjoying Waco.
That's good. Cool.
Yeah, first of all, I love your store, and I really got to give you credit, for help keeping the vinyl revival alive, because it's really made a comeback.
It has. It actually boomed. It really boomed during the pandemic.
Really?
And I'm actually a product of that, because most people, when there's like a recession or there's like a cataclysmic event, they comfort themselves or they pamper themselves.
Yeah.
And
they buy beer.
They buy beer.
And music.
There you go. But what was really interesting, because I used to have a financial crimes background, we would monitor patterns. And usually it's like, hey, salons and things like that to, comfort your soul while
Sure.
crap's hitting the fan.
Yeah. I never really thought about that, but I know that, like I've said, good times or bad times, people are going to buy beer.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost recession proof. But there's also that whole, I guess I read that a couple of years ago, vinyl album sales outsold compact discs.
Yep, it kind of goes back and forth.
Does it?
Yeah, it really does. Everything's like a pattern. What goes up goes down, vice versa. Record sales, they go up. The prices of the records go up. Inflation goes up. So people go to CDs, which they're more compact and they're cheaper.
Ironically, because I've been collecting albums going back to the 70s, early 70s. And, they were $8 a piece, whatever. And then when compact discs came out...
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I got my first deck in probably 1985.
Dear Lord, I was 7 years old.
Right. Well, I was out of college at that point and just started making a little bit of money, but I was so excited by that, new format, and I bought, the first couple I think I bought was Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms. We got to install microwave ovens. Stevie Ray Vaughan Couldn't Stand the Weather. And just loved them. But then, of course, that's all I bought. But then, back then, CDs were like twice as expensive as albums were.
Yep.
Now, it's...
Because they were junking the records back in like the late 80s, early 90s.
I know.
I thought the CDs were going to be the future, but...
Well, they were for a while.
They were for a while. But in my opinion, you know what? Like, records just sound better.
Yeah, if you got a good turntable and you got a good stereo.
Yeah, there you go.
So what brought you to Waco? Well, first of all, what got you into buying and selling records, and how did that lead you to Waco?
Well, I quit my job literally 1 week prior to the pandemic happening. And so in Oregon, it was really tough. You couldn't even leave your house. So I started selling records online temporarily.
So where did you get these records? You had records already, or did you buy them?
I just, flea markets, stuff like that, and inherited some albums from my aunt and started selling them. And I noticed that, hey, I couldn't get my job back. But I started growing with customers.
Yeah.
And what is it, I can't believe it's been 5 years already, the pandemic. 5 years later, I own my own record store here in Waco. But I chose Waco because I had a really good, a lot of people lost a lot of stuff during the pandemic. I lost a lot. My house, everything, savings, marriage, all that stuff. I just lost a lot. Although more people lost even more. Some people lost family, right? So I was just down on my luck, and I had a good experience at a local church about 2 years ago that kind of changed my life, and had a good experience. And
here in Waco?
Yeah, here in Waco. And I just kind of felt like this was the fifth time that I was here, and this experience just made it seem like, hey, you know what? This could be home.
So you pulled up stakes, and where'd you move from?
Oregon.
Oregon, all right.
So is that how you know John from
So John is actually, I met him during the pandemic. He came into my home. He was looking through about 40,000, 45 RPM records, like the small ones, 7-inch ones. And he just kind of grafted me in. He became kind of like I call him my record dad. He's a good mentor.
He's your Obi-Wan?
He's my Obi-Wan Kenobi. He mentors me. Sometimes I travel with him, and we've been able to go to cool places. Like one of the cool places that we've been able to go to is like Billie Holiday's house, and
Oh, wow. Where's that?
that was in New York.
Oh, really?
That was
Yeah.
that was
She's
in
from New York.
We've been in like the producer of Velvet Underground's house in New Haven, Connecticut. That was really cool.
Yeah.
So we bought that jazz record collection. That was really nice. But these are all excursions that I've taken traveling with John. But John is so world renowned that this is just a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
But for me, I was like, wow, this is really cool.
So were you into music before you started sort of dealing records, or did you get into music after?
Not at all. I didn't know what a record was 5 years ago. Had no idea.
But what about music in
what
general?
a record? No, dude, I was like one of those. Oh, this is a top hit. The Clash, and I was this. I grew up like in the 80s, 90s,
Yeah.
Madonna, all that stuff. I was like literally turn on the radio, whatever was on the top hits. That was it. I didn't know much about music. Still to this day, I'm learning. You guys, my customers, are teaching me music.
Very cool.
So that's like the concept. There's no snobs allowed in the store. Just good, honest people wanting to share the love of music.
You're not like Jack Black in High Fidelity, I hope.
No.
Can I have it then?
No, you can't.
Why not?
Well, it's sentimental, tacky crap. That's why not. Do we look like the kind of store that sells I just called to say I love you? Go to the mall.
What's your problem?
Do you even know your daughter? There's no way she likes that song. Oh, is she in a coma?
Well, Waco's really become a boom town the last 10 years, so I guess you timed it pretty well.
I think
Especially with your proximity to the silos over there.
so. Oh, yeah.
Do you get any cross traffic from those folks?
100% I do.
Yeah?
What's really interesting is you guys are really spoiled with musicians.
Yeah.
I'm right next to the Texas Music Cafe, and
man.
Chris Gantry's been here, Freddie Kirch, all these musicians come in. I'm pretty sure even Chris Shiflett from the Foo Fighters was in about 6 or 7 months ago.
No kidding.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that come in here, and the talent here from some of the musicians that just pick up that guitar from throughout the world that come into this location, truly incredible. People from throughout the world, China, Russia, New York, it doesn't matter.
You can't swing a dead cat in Waco without hitting a great guitar player. I'm serious. And God knows, we interviewed a lot of them back in our original incarnation of In the Shed, going back 10 years ago. But it is pretty staggering. It kind of makes it hard for these musicians to make a good living because there's so much competition. And you're so close to Austin and Dallas, who get the big draws in, that we're getting better. But there was a time here 15, 20 years ago, I think, there wasn't a whole lot going out to see bands. I mean, just little bars and clubs. But now you got
the backyard
right over
yeah.
there. And
Texas Music Cafe is going again.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you guys have had like the Fabulous Thunderbirds, Stevie Ray Vaughan. You got all those people, Willie Nelsons, and Lucas Nelson was just in, and Dwight Yoakam last year. You guys are getting some.
That was a really great. That was the,
Randy Travis is going to be here in October. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's he playing?
I think at the Hippodrome. Right?
Really? Yeah. They have some of those classic country artists that play the Hippodrome all the time.
Yeah, we saw Ray Wiley there, and I can't remember who else I've seen there. That's a great venue to play. But I'd have to say the backyard is the one that really pulls in the bigger draws.
But what's cool about Waco is that it's more of an intimate setting.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you constantly on the go and the lookout for new albums to bring into your store? Are you kind of like John, going to record conventions, looking for maybe something that's a little special?
I would like to in the future hire someone so I could get out and about. But I do travel throughout the U.S. and mainly with John. Half the times with John, half the times by myself. But I've been in 30 different states in the last 2 years. And we always look for collections. Yeah.
Any surprises? Anything you were at somebody's house and you're going through their record collection and you're like, oh wow, check out this Beatles record that's sort of priceless or anything like that?
I'm a little bit different. I sell records, but I don't collect records.
I got you. Yeah.
So I'm more about the experiences than I am the record. Now I have with John, like I've held $150,000 records or 6-digit, 5-digit records. I'm not really impressed with it. I'm more impressed behind of how that record came into this location.
Yeah.
and like the history, the trail of why it's here.
Have you ever had anybody bring a record in that was worth a lot of money, but they had no idea?
Yeah, like a consistent one that comes in is a Led Zeppelin 2 Robert Ludwig press. And we've had about 5 in the shop, and I literally...
Is that the original press?
It isn't. It's like a remastered by
Okay.
Robert Ludwig.
Yeah, you showed that to me last time I was in here. Yeah.
It's very well done. Like it's Robert Ludwig remastered it in the way he heard it, and it's off the charts. It's amazing. It's sought after. A near mint record would go for, I don't know, $800 to $1,500. But it has on the dead wax, it has his initials,
Right.
Robert Ludwig.
Okay,
RL.
cool. That's what to look for, huh?
Yeah, that's what to look
I
for.
remember back in a long time ago, they were doing all these half-speed masters. You have a lot of those?
Some probably about 50 in the store.
Of course, they were doing, Dark Side of the Moon, all these classic albums, the Sonic albums.
What does that mean?
Well, what it was is they took the original tapes, the master tapes, and then they played. I guess they did it at like half speed so they could grab more out of it. And then when they remastered it, they sped it up.
back up. Yeah.
Yeah, to full speed. And you supposedly, I don't have any of those, but it was a big deal that went on for a while. But so did quadraphonic sound for a while, then that died. But I remember that those albums would cost, when a regular album cost you $10, those are like $35 or something like that. They were crazy expensive. And you had to really have a really, really good stereo to appreciate it. If you're just going to play it on a regular turntable, cheap turntable, you're not going to get anything out of it. I've got a decent stereo with a pretty good, like S2000, Technics style turntable on. I got great receivers and speakers and stuff like that. But, when you get into that kind of territory, you better have Macintosh amps with at least the cheapest clip speakers out there. But, you can really get out of hand when it comes to audio gear.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've actually had the opportunity of listening to a turntable that was $250,000
wow.
in the home of Michael Fremer, and that was incredible. But I'm just not the one that believes automatically that you need a high-end system to have a good sound. It just finding like the right equipment, even if it's like low budget, that could do the trick.
But it's so relative anyways. I mean, it's like a 60-inch TV to a 55-inch TV or something like that, 4K versus just 1080p. You can always find something better and spend more money on. A lot of times it's just a vanity thing. Yeah. And I'm happy with the stereo that I've had pretty much for speakers go back almost 40 years.
So are there a few records in the store that are standouts or records that you kind of love more than other?
I do. Everyone is attached to some kind of record for some sentimental value, right?
Sure.
It brings you back to your past. But for me, it's Tracy Chapman.
You get a fast car. I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal.
She's world renowned, and she just really, I think she was inducted to the Music Hall of Fame just recently. Fast Cars is just, it's amazing.
That was a great album.
It was.
It won the Grammy, and she came out of nowhere, and she's kind of had a resurgence since that song got covered.
You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? Still gotta make a decision.
Huge fan of Blaze Foley.
Mm-hmm. Blaze Foley's awesome.
Really good, specifically Election Day.
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright.
And I love Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here.
I do too.
How I wish you were here.
Are those
Floyd
original albums or are they reissues?
They are not, but this reissue by Pink Floyd is very well done. It was remastered by Bernie Grunman, and he did a phenomenal job back in 2016, 2017. So I bought 100 of them so that people could listen to what I feel $100 record for $30.
Yeah.
It was well done.
Wow.
So what sells more? What are people looking for more than others? Is it original albums? I'll say, an album that came out in the 70s, or the reissue that maybe came out the last 5 years?
In my experience, and I think it's a trend, more of the younger folks like the contemporary, the sealed records, the indie musicians, the current artists, the true collectors, more of the older style, or the band itself, or audiophile presses. 40, 50-year-olds, I would say more originals. Like the older you get, I think they like the older stuff.
Is there a certain genre that outsells the others as far as is it?
It just depends on your geographic location. like Louisiana, I assume it's like Zydeco, it's like blues, it's stuff like that. Classic rock records all over the place. But here in this store, surprisingly, I can't wrap my head around it. It's every single thing that sells. Every genre sells evenly.
No kid.
Tourists come in, Baylor students come in, local collectors. Just it's
So your clientele is all over the place.
all over the map.
Yeah. Well, you're in a good location, man. Baylor's across the interstate. You got the silos right here. You got musicians and people that are fans of music right here at the Texas Music Cafe. You're right downtown Waco.
The annual Austin Record Convention, which John Tefteller's at, once a year. So people come in after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really well done. It's a good location.
Also, Stan, you're kind of giving back to some charities. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, before I lost most everything, I remember my daughter laughed at me that I quit my job and I was selling records online. She kind of smirked. So I said, you know what? We have more than most. And I was like, damn you, kid, I'm going to show you what Dad could do, and I'm going to raise $250,000 with records. Let's do good things. We've had a lot in our life. And so I've held on to that goal since Oregon, and in good faith, we've given away $37,000 to vetted nonprofits. To vetted nonprofits, primarily anti-human trafficking, women's shelters, foster care, St. Jude's, with record sales.
Wow.
So that'll always be a goal. Now, when we have more records out there, of course I could give back. And right now things are a little bit tough. But yeah, that's always going to be part of the business model.
That's really important, man.
It is.
And it's a great thing. And, it's really one of those things I kind of look for to patronize. If I know somebody's, doing the right thing, giving it back, it's noble.
So I don't collect, so it's easy for me to donate.
Right.
But when people struggle with something and they know that they're struggling with it,
Right.
sell it and donate it away.
Yeah,
It makes it
yeah.
a lot easier.
All right, cool.
So your store it's not really that big. Are you looking to expand? Because I know you're always out there looking for new albums and records.
Yeah, it's
And discs.
so
In cassettes.
we've had about 30,000 records here in the store.
Mhm.
And I need a bigger location.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for what I have, but we're looking for some landlords that would take a chance on me with a bigger space.
Are you worried if you do that you're going to lose this prime spot right here?
No.
No.
I think my business model and the customers, I think the business stands for something better. And I have a decent following.
That's good.
I never
That's good.
worry.
I got one more question for you. So I know you have a bunch of CDs over here, and I talked to you about this last time I was in the store. But I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube about how CDs are making a comeback. Do you see that at all?
No, again, it's just like times change. When records get too expensive, they turn to CDs, and when their sales with the records, they go back to whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just depends on the economy.
Yeah.
I will say this: 90%, in my opinion, of people that buy online are males. This is a very male-dominated hobby or profession. In store, it's about 60% male, 40% female. What I've noticed about CDs, it's 60% female or 70% female that buy the CDs as compared to 30% male.
Young female girls,
a lot
like
of,
college.
Yeah, a lot of high school kids to the 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
truly
What
amazing.
about cassettes?
No, not too much.
Nobody buys cassettes.
Unless they're heavy metal or punk.
I mean, I've got a lot of heavy metal cassettes,
There you
man.
go. I'll buy them from you.
For what, $1 each?
Sure.
A quarter each?
Let's go. In a
No,
couple
I'm,
years.
I'm never gonna sell, because that's my holy grail. Those cassettes that I had when I was in high school,
Yep.
I love them, man.
I actually have, I don't know if you've seen how many cassettes I've got. Of course, a lot of them are home burned ones, but I got a lot of original ones in the case, probably 100.
Yeah.
Of course, got hundreds of albums, and I've got
Oh shoot! I got
hundreds
more
of-
than 100 cassettes, man. I got a bunch of
That's funny.
cassettes, man.
Yeah, he's
I mean,
got-
because I went from
He's got all the metal
because
ones.
when I started, getting into music when I was like 12 or 13, I went right to cassettes, and then I was late to the CD game. I probably didn't even start buying CDs until '95.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a lot. I got 15 years of cassettes. A lot of cassettes.
Oh,
I went back home last weekend.
Yeah.
Me and my brother were kind of going through some old stuff, cleaning some things out. I was like, man, I forgot. And they're all in alphabetical order too. I
Yeah.
forgot, and they're
There you
still
go.
in alphabetical order.
All right, that's
Yeah.
how I organize mine.
Yeah. Armando, we want to thank you for letting us hang out in your record store today. Anything you want to say? Plug websites?
Oh,
Anything
yeah.
going on?
We do good things with records, and if you we're always looking to buy. We travel, pay very well. But also, we share some of the stories online. Just kicked off a YouTube channel, Vintage Mio Records. We're interviewing people as well. And just kind of sharing the journey of the store.
What's your website?
It's vintagemio.com.
VINTAGEMIO.com.
Perfect. There you go.
Exactly.
All right.
Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us in the shed, but we're not in the shed. We're inside of our record store. I want to thank Armando again, and
We'll get back to the shed here pretty darn soon, but
Exactly.
this was fun.
Yeah.
I really like doing this.
so
So
we'll see you next time
All right.
in the shed.
In the shed. Bye.